So apparently, Stranger Things was written by AI. Well, at least it's been speculated that either the final season or at least the final episode of the final season, aka the 2-hour-long finale, was written by AI. And I say speculated because there's literally been no evidence about this. Like, no evidence from the Duffer Brothers. There's no evidence within the creative team whatsoever about them using AI. And the only evidence anyone has got about this is based on a screenshot from the documentary called One Last Adventure, which is, a behind the scenes of Stranger Things 5. And there's a screenshot. Apparently, one of the tabs, fans pointed out a very vague icon or symbol and immediately thought ChatGPT. Whilst I'm not going to sit here and say that they didn't use it, I'm not going to sit here and say they did either, because at the end of the day, whether or not they have it open on browser, it does not mean they use it for the writing process of Stranger Things. And I've seen comments and even videos on YouTube about people talking about how they're using AI to write out Stranger Things. And on one hand, I've seen the videos and they have said that there's no evidence about it, so which I appreciate them actually acknowledging that there's no evidence about it. But they go on to say that if the possibility of them using AI is true, then it would explain why the final season or the final episode was so bad. And I'm going to counter that with, it could just be poor writing. This has been done how many times? It's not exactly a new thing that the finale has poor writing. Okay, maybe not to this degree and maybe not to this magnitude. And I will be honest, when I saw the ending, I was like, I liked half of it, even though I will admit, it is a little bit melodramatic because it does make you emotional, and maybe it sort of forces that on you, and it's not really earned as much as it's not really earned or satisfactory. So I can understand that viewpoint, but I still liked the ending, even though I kind of didn't really like how they did it. I'm not going to go into spoiler territory here because I already made a video going into it, ranting about it, and sort of going into spoiler territory there. But this, I'm going to try to stay clear of that. But the first half of the finale, it felt very action-based, and at least to me, it felt very Call of Duty-like. And even when watching it, I was like, this feels very Call of Duty-like, and I don't really like it. So I was kind of glad about the finale itself, the second half, just being better. Not saying it's the best, but it's at least better than the first half of the finale. But to say that because the finale was written poorly, and so you're excusing it to say it was written by AI is so... I don't really know how to even react to that. Because it sounds... I'm going to say it sounds dumb. Because I've seen so many people, say for example in the comments, write out a whole paragraph worth of whatever they're interested in, they're passionate about, so they write a lot about it. And then I have seen so many replies to that comment saying, oh, did you get ChatGPT to write this up for you, or this was like AI? This was written by AI. So if you write out something that looks professional or competent, people say it's written by AI. But then if you get something that seems incompetently written, it's written by AI. So you literally can't even counter with these people, because they say like anything that is competently written is written by AI, and if anything is incompetently written is written by AI. So the argument sort of cancels each other out, and it's the most brain dead take possible, because you can't really. What can you really say about that? What can you really react about that? Now, the reason why I have been talking about this is because I saw an article from Hollywood Reporter, and one thing I want to make clear is that people like to say that they're being gaslighted by the creatives, or they're being gaslighted by Netflix, or they're being gaslighted by this, that, and the other. And on one hand, I sort of get that point of view, because I can understand feeling like you're being gaslit, but actually being gaslit, I don't know about that. I just wanted to give my pieces of the pie at least, and if people think that this video is pointless, they can just click off already. I don't really care. I just wanted to, I wanted to make this video to bring across my point of view, because the things that people come out with in reaction to Stranger Things, it just boggles my mind. Because another thing that this article talked about is how one of the actors reminded the creative team, either the director or the writer, about how their character is meant to be. I've seen a lot of people say that the director or the writer is being reminded about it, that they should be so competent that they shouldn't need to be reminded. And those people need to be reminded that it's good that these actors are giving suggestions or giving additions to the scene, because that sounds like a collaborative, creative work. Like they are collaboratively working creatively to make this, and I think that's a good relationship to have with the creative team. Because if the actor requested something and the creative team was like, we're just going to reject that, then that feels more like a dictatorship in the creative team rather than a healthy relationship between the director and the actor. Because of course the director, writer have a pretty good, decent idea of what is going on and how to make it. The actor can suggest things and, work through the creative process alongside with the writers and directors. But of course, the actors don't necessarily make it. At the end of the day, it's just a suggestion, and it's not reminding the directors and writers about their characters. It's just an addition. And like in this article, the person being interviewed who made the documentary even said that it's an addition and a suggestion about the character rather than being a reminder. So I'm really glad that this article coincides with my reaction to everybody, because goodness me, when I saw videos of people being mad about these things from the documentary, at first I was thinking, this has got to be I don't know, some sort of rage bait, right? Because it looks like they're being they're being mad about it, but they're not thinking it through. Look, I get that they're pretty mad about the ending and about the entire season overall. I understand that, because I'm not particularly mad about it. I'm not particularly upset about it. I'm just like, I'm more disappointed that the show got this insanely big, and because it got this insanely big, it was going to be an extremely difficult task to end off in the most satisfactory way possible, because you're trying to please everybody, but you can't please everybody. And that's what these sort of blockbuster style shows and shows kind of miss the mark on, is trying to satisfy everyone. And when you try to satisfy everyone, you can't satisfy nobody. So I think that people have been a bit, one, obtuse about their reaction, and two, a bit obtuse about their reaction as well. Unless I just said the same thing twice. Basically, I just think that people have been a bit reactionary. And, because, it's videos on YouTube, it's either someone being genuine about their opinions, their feelings, or it's being rage baity for content's sake to get clicks and views. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that that's exactly what they're doing, but it's not exactly far away from the possibility, is it? Which is why some of the videos I've seen, I couldn't even get past the halfway mark, because I just thought they're literally just, at least to me, it feels like they're just raging and just saying a bunch of stuff that they're mad about, but don't have any concrete evidence to back up what they're mad about. As I said about like the whole AI writing Stranger Things, that's like the biggest talking point right now. And I cannot stress this enough. AI is a tool. It's how you use it. Yes, it can sometimes create the results that you maybe wanted, but it can also create really rubbish results. So it's not the best tool around. It's apparently getting better, but it's not the best tool around. But at the end of the day, it is a tool. It's just like, you using your phone. And when you're sort of writing something, you have your phone next to you, and okay, maybe it's not the best comparison to make, because your phone, yes, your phone does have AI interfaces, because you've got like Siri or Cortana with Windows, I think. Yeah, so phone. Oh wait, iPhone has Siri. I don't even know what Google or Android has. But anyway, phone has Siri. That's an AI interface. And it's not as helpful as ChatGPT can apparently be. But as I say, it's just a tool. And yes, it's a possibility that they had it on the browser. Once again, it doesn't mean that they used it, and it does not mean that they relied on it. It's just a possibility of not as good writing as previous seasons. And you know what? I'm just going to lay it down right now that season 1 was definitely the best one. Season 2, not as great. It's still alright, but it's not as great as season 1. Season 3 went in a bit of a different direction. It still was enjoyable to an extent, but the season did kind of went a bit, kind of started to go downhill. And then season 4 went downhill a little bit more. It did get better because the tone did shift back from the sort of light-hearted comedy side, which was in season 3, back to the dark side of it all in season 4. But it got a little bit more blockbuster style in season 4, and then season 5 is literally just a continuation of season 4. And I've said to a few people that I used to be obsessed with Stranger Things, but ever since season 4 got like, super huge and super long, my obsession like dwindled and just fell. So I was not really that excited for Stranger Things 5, as much as it was enjoyable to an extent, because it was very epic and cool to see some scenes. Though when I was watching a certain scene, I was like, as much as this looks pretty cool, I could tell that they put like everything into this. Like, that's like probably the best scene they've done, but it's purely for spectacle based and not nearly for like any substance. It was literally spectacle and style. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with spectacle and style. You need to balance those. You need to balance out. You need to balance those out with substance. And even the Dapper Brothers did say this in the documentary, that
at the end of the day, the audience cares most about the characters and not the spectacle. But the ultimate goal is to collide the two. Max emotion, max spectacle colliding at the same time.
When I was watching the documentary, I was like, I don't particularly agree that they needed to focus on spectacle. If they said that they're trying to strike a balance between the two, fair enough. I think that they tried and they didn't necessarily succeed. I'm not going to say that they failed, like so many other people online are saying that they failed. They did not fail. This is literally just like an absolute mindset that people seem to have now. I don't even know why. I mean, I consider myself as an absolute sort of mindset person, but I also can recognize when things are a bit more nuanced than people seem to want to realize. And so it did not fail, but it did not necessarily succeed in its plan either. And I know that people have also complained about they did not have the whole script finished before filming season 5, or at least the finale. On one hand, it is a bit incompetent, but on the other hand, it's not even necessarily a new thing. Not saying it's a good thing that this happens. It's not really a good thing because it does suck when it happens. But it's not necessarily a new thing that's happened. In fact, as far as I'm aware, I mean, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think I'm particularly wrong, that even season 1, and I think maybe even season 2 and 3, filmed without a full finished script. I think season 4 is the only one that got a finished script before filming, because, COVID and stuff like that. And I remember, I think it was on Twitter, that the Stranger Writers, or Stranger Things Twitter account, whichever one it was, they said that due to writing so much and the break from filming because of like the whole COVID situation, that you weren't able to film at the time, they managed to actually finish the full script before going into filming. And I think they said that this is the first time that's happened. So once again, going into the filming without a finished script is not a new thing. And yet people are treating it like it's a brand new thing. It is just not. And it really pissed me off why people are talking about this. And I just wanted to say something, really. Because this show meant a lot to me. Not as much as like Doctor Who does, because like I'm like a huge fan of that. But this show, I've been obsessed with it since the beginning, and then yeah, as I said, season 4 I kind of fell down. I felt like I wanted to give a piece of my pie, even if people don't give a shit. I'm pretty sure that most people probably won't even give a shit, and this probably won't like get viewed much at all. I don't really care. As long as I've said something, I've said my piece, and it goes out there, that's all I really care about. I also find it extremely hilarious how in this article it says you've got superfans pausing, zooming in on individual frames. That was with ChatGPT open. Did they use ChatGPT in your presence? Are we even sure they had ChatGPT? I mean, I'm not even sure myself. I'm personally not, but the internet seems sure. There's a lot of chatter where social media users are like, we don't really know, but we're assuming. But to me, it's like, doesn't everybody have it open? And as soon as I read this, I was like, you're asking if everybody has ChatGPT open to do quick research. I'm willing to believe that this is just a quick joke, but the way it's phrased, it doesn't really feel like a joke. I mean, when it comes to text form, you can't really tell that something is a joke. Well, maybe to some people, they can tell. I personally can't tell, unless it's like in video form and you can sort of tell someone's tone of voice and how they're sort of acting and behaving, then you can tell if it's a joke or not. But in text form, you can't really tell, to me. And yeah, when I saw that, I was like, I mean, I've used ChatGPT literally once. And when I say once, I mean, I opened up ChatGPT and I think I even tried to do it for like a video just to have like a first impression sort of thing, because I like to do that. And it wouldn't even load for me. I tried like I think 5 times and it said this service is busy or something like that. Please try again later. I kept trying, nothing. And I thought, screw this, I'm not using it again. That's literally the only time I've ever used ChatGPT. The only ever time. Not once have I ever used... I'm pretty sure that I've never ever used any form of like AI generated... Well, I say that. I have used AI generated stuff, but I haven't used it in like any creative process. I use them to experiment, to see what they're like. But apart from that, I've never actually used it in any creative process. So yeah, don't worry about that. To say that, oh, doesn't everybody have it open just to do quick research? No, absolutely not. No. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. I apologize if this video is like really long. I did not mean for it to be this long. I meant for it to be, I don't know, a little bit shorter than this, but I kind of just wanted to put my point across. So I hope everybody understands that. But yeah, thanks you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.